Hey everyone, this is Matt Strat back with another video, and in this episode we're going to try to explore the possibility of fixing the Ottawa Senators. Now, I know every team is fixable, but going through the Ottawa Senators, it's really difficult. Um, you have a lot of variables to take into account. Their roster's still not very developed. The only good thing is they have a good amount of prospects to start off with. But the problem is you don't have a lot of expenses to upgrade your scouting staff and your coaching staff. So I'm going to try to rebuild from square one, scrap the coaches, scrap the scouts, and just rebuild from the ground up. As of right now, I'm like 3 or 4 years in, and I still don't have a good footing. But I guess we'll dive into the reasons why Ottawa needs to be fixed, and let's get started. So really, when it comes to Ottawa Senators, the real issues here are the general manager and the owner. Specifically, Pierre Dorian being the general manager, he's made a really bad moves. Just Matt Duchene trade was bad. He kind of redeemed himself with Eric Carlson, and then you got Eugene Melnick, who's just probably one of the worst owners in NHL history, and the NHL should force him to sell the team. So this is pretty much why they're so hard to deal with. Like I said with Pierre Dorian, he's just not doing a good job with the Ottawa Senators. I didn't like his off-season moves, getting Dadonov. I don't think they're ready to come out of the rebuilding era or phase that they're barely in, mainly because of the owner, Eugene Melnick, who just constantly throws the fans under the bus, threatens to move the team before their Canadian Heritage Series a couple years ago. And it's really sad to see how this team has pretty much collapsed in such a short amount of time, going from a Stanley Cup contender, one goal away from a Stanley Cup final, and now they're just a shell of their former selves, and it's really sad to see. So we're going to try to help them out. So just looking at the roster situation for Ottawa, they have a lot of centers, and it's a huge logjam that needs to be cleaned up desperately. They have no wing depth whatsoever. Defense, they're looking okay. The only real good thing about the roster is their goalies, and that's pretty much it. But the problem is they don't have any goalie prospects, which we'll get into shortly. So as we look at the notable prospects for the Ottawa Senators, I could pretty much make a whole complete lineup with them, except obviously they don't have a prospect goalie, which is what I'm going to go for in the draft. And as you can see, there's only like 4 top round draft picks, and there's only 2 lower level draft picks, and they really need to increase those numbers to be sufficient. So real quick, I'm just going to go through every position. As you can see, there's a lot of centers. There's a steep drop off after Stützle. Left wing, they have a decent amount of potential coming up through the AHL. Right wing, not really too much going there. Their defense, besides Chabad Bronstrom, are it's all right. Goalies are absolutely barren, and we need to fix that. So going through their coaching staff, they actually don't have it too bad. Their AHL coaching staff is a little concerning, so honestly I'll probably scrap it and redo it. But their real issue is scouting. They only have 2 scouts. Everybody else is either average or they're very below average. And that's not a good way to draft your prospects. And as you can see, they don't have a good spread of scouts among regions. Going through their offensive lineup, they really don't have anything besides the top line. They do have a bunch of not so good contracts. Don't like Stepan's contract. Don't like Dadonov's contract. But their bottom 6 is at least a little decent. Defensively, Chabot's really the only notable here. Zaitsev, I really want to move, and it's not good at all. And then you got Murray and Hochberg. So just doing a little line analysis, they really don't have proper structure, except for bottom six, as I mentioned before. I really don't, like I said, Dadanoff's contract, not so good. Colin White's not too much of a fan of. Chris Tierney, probably look to get rid of him, step on. Really don't understand that move. And Anisimov definitely needs to go. Defensively, really Chabot, and then their bottom pair is really the only guys that fit in my lineup structure. And like I noted before, I really want to get rid of Nikita Zaitsev's contract. I really don't think it's a good one. He's been pretty bad, but other than that, they really need to work on their defense, and it's in pretty bad shape. So looking at their goaltenders, Matt Murray is the only one that stands out here. He's 83 overall, so I'm going to look to get rid of him. In reality, it's actually a decent contract. I think it's fair for what he's proven so far, being a cup winner with Pittsburgh, but at the same time being kind of unreliable as far as injuries go. But for now, we're going to move him this year. So now that I talked a bit about Ottawa's issues, I do want to start talking about what they're good at. I think mostly their strength is that they have a young team, and that's good for when you're rebuilding, because you got a lot of young guys that you can groom. Specifically, Chabot and Tkachuk are starting to come up. And then they solidified the goaltending position with Murray, but in the game world it's not working out, but in reality I think it's a good signing. And then the only thing with the prospects is they need to draft a starting goalie, because Matt Murray isn't going to last forever. And that's the most important position on the team. So let's talk trading. Now, all the trades that you see in front of you were either made at the trade deadline or after the draft. I decided to give away Derek Stepan, Evgeny Dadonov, Chris Tierney, Artem Anisimov, and Nikita Zaitsev, just because I don't see them being quarter pieces for this team. And as you can see, I got some really high draft picks. Unfortunately, no first, but I got a bunch of seconds and thirds. And it's going to help me rebuild for the future and try to go after that goalie prospect that I so desperately need, and try to accelerate my rebuild as fast as I possibly can with this team. So what I'm showing you guys now is just my lineups after year one, and as you can see, my offense is still not very good. It's still developing. I plugged in a few free agents in there just to put band-aids in. And then defense, I did bring in Hjalmarsson and Gustafsson to bolster it, and Brandstrom got called up. And then I brought in Lundqvist and traded away Matt Murray during the offseason. So this is my coaching staff after last season. As you can see, nothing really has changed, nor has it gotten better. And same thing goes with the scouting. I tried to re-sign and retool some stuff, but I didn't really start doing it until really during the season. So that was my rebuild after year one with the Ottawa Senators. I really tried to lay it out for you guys, what I wanted to do. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more content, please like and subscribe, and please comment any ideas that you want for future videos. I'm definitely up for it. And I'll see you in the next video. Talk to you guys later.